Meta, they were making cuts last week. Thousands of people were getting laid off last week. I don't know if y'all remember that. And then all of a sudden this week, they're saying, yo, we're going to make some heavy, heavy investment. Them and Apple, they're like, hey, humanoids, that's what we need. That's what we need to take it into the next level, to take it into the next decade, century, whatever they want to say. And so, yeah, right now, Meta and Apple, they're making a significant strategic push straight for AI powered humanoid robotics. Okay. So right now, basically, here's what they're looking into. So they have a reality labs division. Okay. And so this project is housed under Meta, under the hardware division. And they're known for just literally making cutting edge technology in AR, VR headsets, right? That's what they work on and what they're doing. And now, if y'all remember last week, we talked about how they were going to be shifting focus specifically in the AR, VR direction. So this is all tracking. So I guess the writing was on the wall with these humanoids for them. Maybe not so much for us. So we have Mark Whitten, all right, and he's basically the former head cruise, he's the former cruise CEO that initiates the leverage and his experience in autonomous systems, right, from self-driving car industry. So they brought him in, all right. And then the AI integrations, basically, they're developing advanced AI systems for these robots to be autonomous, and they're building on Meta's already existing AI capabilities and the stuff that they have with their language models and the computer vision, obviously with their headsets and things like that. So yeah, I mean, they're going full throttle here on this one. They're partnering with a robotics startup company called FigureAI and Unitree Robotics. All right, so we want to keep an eye on those two, in case they are rolled up into a public company or something like that. Who knows? Just saying. Just want to keep an eye on those two, just in case. Or maybe the people who make the parts, right? Got to be thinking on that side as well. But anyways, they're going to they're not, the initial robots, they're not going to carry the Meta branding. So this right here obviously is Fugazi, right? But it's just to show just to show a little something. But these first robots, they're not going to have the Meta branding. Obviously, I guess because that's what they agreed on. They're like, hey, these are our robots, we had them for years, and y'all not gonna buy out the company like y'all normally do, but we'll partner with y'all. We'll partner and we can license something out. All right. So we'll see what happens there. These first prototypes, though, they're gonna focus on like the domestic work and domestic tasks, like cleaning and maintenance, right? So we see this, we see this a little bit already, but obviously they're gonna be humanoids, so it'll be a little bit different, probably a little weird if you've seen iRobot and stuff like that. But anyway, so the long-term plans that Meta has, that they're going to target manufacturing, logistics, and the retail sectors. Manufacturing, logistics, and the retail sector. So if you're in those spaces, sayonara. No, I'm joking. On a serious note, if you're in those spaces, you need to probably be figuring out how to shift and move over into the AI sides of those spaces, or like you know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. I don't even have to really say it, but y'all, anyways, it's gonna get competitive here in the next few years, though. Remember, I just told y'all, Apple, they're getting their hand in the race. Meta is basically, they're not even thinking about Apple. They're putting their heads up against Tesla's Optimus robot. And then you have Boston Dynamics Atlas. They have a humanoid robots as well. So yeah, it's gonna get pretty interesting here in the next in these coming years. So we'll see what happens. What do y'all think about this, though? On how last week they just laid off or gave buyouts to thousands and thousands of people, and now they tell us this week they're focusing on humanoids. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, that's very interesting, man. I'm gonna go to the comments section because Tech Coach Real got a lot to say about this topic. He says, one of the people I was coaching homeschooling her daughter with a heavy focus on STEM and robotics. So people are are already paving the future
Huge.
for the next gen. He also
Yeah,
said it
man.
needs to be able to fold laundry before we can talk serious stuff here. He
I
mentioned,
mean,
oh man,
I bet it can. I bet it can. Perfect every time.
yeah.
Give me the perfect, but the perfect one, man.
Perfect fold, the no malfunctions. And on Tuesday, sorry, he said on Saturday, I posed a question of would you be willing to have 90% of school funding allocated to STEM and 10% of the other stuff and of low performing employees? I wonder what the results for that poll was. So let us know in the comment section or feel free to
Yeah, let
call
us
in
know
and
about
show
that.
let us know like what were the results of that poll. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. I mean, it's all kind of tied into this AI, artificial intelligence, that will probably be used as the framework for the way that these robots are thinking. But it's just amazing to kind of see how things have pivoted in such a short amount of time. It wasn't too long ago where we were talking about the big thing, especially when it came to Meta, was being this augmented reality. Remember we talked about that a little bit, which probably could be coming
Yep,
that
yep.
that comes back. We were talking about the Meta glasses and just what's going to be happening in the metaverse, and now we're off to the races on robots. And so I feel like they all play a part, but obviously it's very interesting to see that. And like you said, you're absolutely right. Like I think a lot of people are going to be in this place of okay, how do I pivot and basically kind of put myself for the future in regards to this
It should.
topic, you know, and making sure like, hey, the next gen, how can they how could they have a piece of the pie or how could they participate in this? Because as we kind of said many times on the show, it's not for us to basically have fear about this. It's for us to
Mm-mm.
understand it enough so that we could make the positive changes for this so that to the next generation, those that we are close to, those that we impact, that they have an understanding of it and they could actually pursue this as well. And so that's the thing that I always think about is like how could we as as a people be a part of the conversation and influence things. That's why I'm so glad we're talking about different leaders this month that have impacted technology that are part of Black history. But even beyond Black history, it's just other groups as well, whether Hispanic groups, whether groups from other demographics that are part of this conversation and actually could be a part of it to shape and form what these robots think and do, because that's the important thing to me. It's like, hey, who is telling these robots, who's programming these robots, who are training these models so that way they could think a certain way and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
biased.
That's bro. That's important, man. That you mentioned that. I didn't realize. I don't know. Y'all know I'm a little dark skinned. Me and Joseph. We got a little melanin. I
Little
didn't know,
Melanie.
bro. I didn't know early on. I used to go into the restroom, and you know how they had the electronic water, like when you're
Yeah.
washing your hands, I didn't realize until it was a long time. I didn't know that they really weren't calibrated for our skin. So that's why it literally
Wow.
wouldn't work like that. It wouldn't work like that because it couldn't recognize it. I was like, man, that's crazy. But when you're not when you're not in the room, when you're not in those conversations, when you don't know anything about that kind of stuff, to be able to have that input, I mean, that's kind of what
Mm,
happened. So it
man.
just I just thought I'd throw that out there to go along with what you were just mentioning.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Tech Coach Ralph's comments as well. That's a really good point you made. I didn't know that either. Tech Coach Ralph said probably too late for a lot of them. People wait until dire situations to make a change, and that's why we have this channel,
That
man.
is that is true.
That's what we have. We have this channel to expose and expand. And no pun intended. Shout out to Expose and Expand podcast. But yeah, I definitely feel like this is something that is really important, a really important part of the conversation. So listen, y'all. What if you guys have anything else you would love to say about this? I think like iRobot, that's like a first gen sort of iteration. Maybe not even first gen, but I feel like technology like that does help around the house will soon become a part of our everyday life. There's lawnmowers now that mow your lawn
Yeah,
autonomously.
yeah,
Um, there's things that are going to become a part of our everyday life just because convenience is a part of it, and this is not going to be any different. And so, And so we've seen the movies as well. We talked about some of the movies.
That latest one,
Yeah, and
I can't
so
remember the name.
Afraid. I know that's one I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
talked about on Netflix, where the robot is basically
Hmm.
doing everything, even doing bully prevention. I won't get into details, but it did a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is something that we definitely going to see more of. But listen, y'all, as we have this conversation, feel free, as I said earlier, to call in anytime to the show. Even if you want to go back to a topic because you had to take some time to think about it, you are free to do that. Feel free to go to the show, click the link. You don't have to show your face, but you could go ahead and you could call in. And when you call in, you can share your opinion and thoughts about a particular subject. Maybe you have a little bit more of experience with a particular subject. So we want to hear from you. Go ahead, call in and let us know what is going down. But I'm going to stop right here and let y'all know what's going down when it comes to these events.